Hello, my Aloha tribe, and welcome to the Aloha Perspective, where you get a little bit of something and a whole lot of everything. Happy Tuesday. It is Mardi Gras. It is Fat Tuesday. It is Tuesday. And, I don't know. I need to correct myself. I keep telling everybody, because a friend that I know through another friend that I've never actually met in person, but we text a lot. I met through Bestie from high school, lives in Alabama, and told me that the very first Mardi Gras was actually held in Alabama. But as I do my homework, I'm wondering if this is just something that New Orleans and Alabama fights about. Okay, well, we had it first. So we'll just say in the United States, Mardi Gras was born in the Gulf Coast. Okay, so whoever wants to have that distinction, they're more than welcome to. But all signs point to actually New Orleans having the first Mardi Gras. So if I misled people, I apologize. Because like I said, I was just reading, and it shows that Alabama's first celebration was in, what does it say here? 1703, but they actually have documents of a very small celebration being held in 1699 just off the coast in New Orleans. So it was in the Gulf Coast. So I guess that's where the argument lies. You can all fight over it. You can decide. It looks like the actual big celebrations really kind of started in New Orleans. So I'm just going to stand back here and let NOLA and Alabama fight over it, okay? But anyways, it is Mardi Gras. And I got a little bit of fun facts. And because it's Mardi Gras, I have the New Orleans Oracle deck by Fatima Mboj. I think I'm saying her name right. I say this every time because I don't like butchering people's names. So hopefully I got that right. But I did it because today they have a Mardi Gras card, right? I mean, next to it, it looks like one big party, but it's actually the same card. So, everybody knows, right? It's so colorful. I just love this deck. But we're going to go through that, and this is actually a really good message, and it came up in the Oracle reading on Friday, so I'm really excited to share that with you. I'm so sorry, guys. My nose is all itchy. Anyways, sorry. Also, that stunned look I may have had at the very beginning of this show. So when I hit play, or when I hit record, right, when I hit go live, it counts down 3, 2, 1. It literally held on the 1 for like 2 seconds, and I'm like, oh, what do I do? So I'm doing my best to represent Mardi Gras. Got my purple, blue, and green hair. I don't know why. I just like the colors. And I got some, like I said, I got some fun facts. Last year I did a whole show on this. So if you can find Mardi Gras from last year, have at it, and just, fix the stuff I said about California, about the United States and where the first Mardi Gras started. So they're 144 miles apart. They should just meet in the middle and celebrate together. Anyways, Brazil, Venice, and New Orleans are known for their celebrations when everyone whoops it up before Lent. And of course, Carnival is actually a season, and I think that's really kind of what Brazil celebrates is Carnival, which just kind of builds up to Mardi Gras. So that's my guess. Never been there, never done that. Seen it on TV. It looks amazing. All the beautiful colors, all the vibrancy of everything. It's amazing, and I'm surprised Venice is on here. I mean, I've never seen anything come out of Venice when it comes to Mardi Gras, but how exciting, right? I'd love to go to Italy and celebrate Mardi Gras there. I mean, and then hop a plane to Rome and go to mass at the Vatican. My brain on Lent, right? I mean, I'm literally a lapsed Catholic. I know I have a lot of different beliefs. I have a lot of spiritual beliefs, but the Catholicism, I don't think will ever be knocked out of me because it wasn't knocked into me. Okay. I did not grow up in a Catholic home. I grew up in a split home of an agnostic / atheist, depending on the day, and a Catholic. And just for reference, my atheist agnostic parent, actually grew up very religious, and so I'll let you take it from there. So that's how he grew up in a very, very tight religious home, and has since been like, nope, I'm out. So for years before I was even born. But my mom did raise me Catholic, and so The other thing about Mardi Gras that I was going to talk about in the United States is that in New Orleans, when the Spaniards came in, they actually nixed the celebrating of Mardi Gras. Come on, Spain, what the hell? So, but when it became a state, they're like, fuck you, we're back. So I know, hey, you know what? I told you when I came back that it's all or nothing with Shelly Marie. Shelly Marie got nothing to hide. So the next thing, Mardi Gras may seem like a Christian holiday, but the tradition actually dates back to the pagan celebrations of spring and fertility, including the raucous Roman festivals of Saturnalia and Lupercalia. It was eventually Christianized when religion came to Rome. So, so I don't want to, I'm not jumping on anyone's beliefs here, okay? Because growing up, I thought all these things belonged to the Catholics, okay? And hello, there's like a bazillion other religions out there that fall under the Christianity umbrella. But, sorry, my voice is still, I know, this cold is either determined to make me sound super sexy for forever. I know, like I really sound super sexy. But I can say this, when I sing at night, I can actually hit the low notes. So there is a bonus to this congestion stuff. And I'm not even sick anymore. Doesn't that, just as a side note, doesn't that suck when you're sick? And you're like, you feel better like after a week, but then you're coughing, you're hacking up about 50 lungs a day. Or you feel like, yeah, I'm finally better. And then you laugh and like something happens and it's like, you gotta be kidding me. Where did that come from? I mean, I did not know a human can produce so much snot in one day. I know, it's gross, right? Icky. And then here I am drinking coffee with milk in it, but I just made my own today in my fancy Christmas Starbucks cup. But it's so good. It's so good. Oh, but I was like, I was sitting there the other day and I was like, I wish I had some red lipstick because it's been a long time since I've tried on red lipstick to see. Of course, the one I tried on, it's pretty much permanent until you wipe it off. It doesn't come off with anything else. So, but yeah, so I'm doing my best to get into the Mardi Gras spirit. I kind of wished I had feathers to stick in my hair, right? But anyways, circling back. So why Fat Tuesday? Mardi Gras, for those who do not know or have not figured it out yet, Mardi Gras actually means Fat Tuesday. So, Mardi is, and Gras. So, oh, right. Oh my God, it's going to be one of those days. It's going to be one of those days, isn't it? So why Fat Tuesday? Because, in old Christian traditions, before Lent, Lent really kind of consists of, back in the old days, right? I mean, nowadays, everyone just kind of, half-asses Lent. And not my mom. My mom never half-assed Lent. In fact, my dad pulled a mean trick on her one time. It was so bad. I mean, I laughed, and I think my mom eventually laughed, but I could only imagine the horror in her eyes, and I'll tell you about that in a second. But it was just because my mom only sometimes half paid attention to things. And I'm kind of the same way, right? It's like you start doing something, you're like, oh wait, when I had my hockey season seats before I got my concussion, and which kind of took about 5 years to actually heal. I would forget, and on Fridays I would have a hot dog, and my mom would be like, well, no meat tonight because it's Friday. And I would sit there and I'd be like, oh my God, halfway through the hot dog. And then I think one time siblings said, don't feel bad. Nobody really knows what kind of meat that's made out of anyway. So, and she wasn't wrong. So hot dogs it is. But that being said, going back to the old traditions of, like the old school traditions before we all became a little loose with the rules. Lent is supposed to, I mean, we'll talk about Lent tomorrow because, for people who don't understand it or people who don't give a shit about religion or whatever, it is kind of interesting to know why Mardi Gras really kind of came about. And it wasn't about the celebrations, it wasn't about this or that, and it kind of culminated into that, right? Because that's what it became. Because it's about partying, it's about excess, it's about this, that, or the other, and it's about living up the gluttony sin, right, up to its fullest. Because once Lent hits, once Ash Wednesday hits, it's about fasting and eating pretty much nothing but fish and whatever might go with fish. So like, maybe rice or grains or whatever. And that was old school traditions. They fasted a lot. I believe, I'm not 100% sure on this because, my Catholic school day teachings are a little sketchy this late in my life. But I believe they originally fasted on Lent, fasted on Fridays, and fasted on Good Friday. So, and that's rough, right? Now, in modern days, it's not that beneficial to do that because you don't want to pass out. People, especially people that worked, out on the land, right? Or, just had to carry a job. You have to give yourself some kind of sustenance or you are going to just be worthless for the day. So, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but, you can't focus, you can't think, you can't do this, you're focusing on your tummy. And, while you're thinking about that, if you do choose to fast from time to time, this is why we need to be better in this world. I know I'm throwing this in here because it's making me think about it. Imagine having that feeling every day. Imagine having that feeling every day. So be grateful for what you have. Be grateful that even if you're choosing to fast, that you are choosing to fast. There are people out in this world that are starving and they're not choosing it. Okay, so be grateful. Be grateful for the roof over your head, the electricity, the water, the heat, everything. The food on your table, no matter how little it may be, or especially if you have a lot. Be grateful. Okay, so anyways, they would indulge in like rich, fatty foods and decadent desserts and all these wonderful things because of the fact that, Lent, which Lent is, so, okay, here's the thing. They say Lent is 40 days. Okay. That was always my understanding. Lent is 40. That's what they just tell you. 40, it's supposed to represent Jesus's 40 days and 40 nights in the desert. Basically not eating, no water, no anything, to resist, to kind of get back to center, right? To resist, to show people they can resist the temptation of the devil. That was always my understanding from my teachings growing up in parochial school. But Lent is actually longer because Jesus came out of the desert after 40 days. Then we have the week between Easter and Palm Sunday, right? Palm Sunday is when, Jesus comes back into, was it Jerusalem? Bethlehem? I'm telling you, sketchy. I would say Jerusalem. And, eventually goes on trial and then, Holy Thursday, and then there's Good Friday when he's nailed to the cross. And then of course you have Saturday where he's just in tomb, and then Sunday is Easter and Jesus ascends to heaven. So I guess I'm covering Lent today. I won't come up with something tomorrow. But the whole point of it was to kind of just observe this time as like in your faith. So a lot of people, when I say half-ass, there's a lot of people out there that'll say, oh, well, I'm going to give up salad. And they don't eat a salad a day in their life. Come on, challenge yourself, okay? If you don't challenge yourself, you don't change yourself. And if there's something that you want to change, if there's something you want to be better at, then do it. I'm giving up, no, 1 year I gave up chocolate across the board. And it about killed me because I love my coffee from time to time from Starbucks. And so I know that people are like, well, but that's the point. But I don't go to Starbucks as much as I used to because, I would do that a lot on my way to work. But I tend to make a lot of my coffee at home. But I'm giving up, and this is going to sound silly, but you don't have to just give up a thing. Okay, you can give up a habit. And I tend to worry and overthink a lot. So my goal is to try to fix my vibe and kind of raise my vibe, because how do we change this world? How do we put positivity and light into this world? We ramp up our vibes. But I also noticed that I've been hitting the cookies and the candy a little too hard. So ixnay on those chocolates, especially when I get depressed, I tend to eat. So I'm an emotional eater. And so I think that will help me. So, don't worry if it's something that will help you. The whole point is trying to do something, to challenge yourself, to get rid of these bad habits, trying to think, 2010, so 13 and a half years ago, I actually gave up soda. Well, I should say Coke. I gave up Coca-Cola, okay, because that's my crack. That is so my crack. Have not had one since. I did kind of slip a little, have a cherry cola just to see. But my doctor told me no, because even though my heart is repaired and my heart's running fine, he said caffeine and sugar at the levels that you drink it is not good. And I can't have Diet Coke because it gives me a headache. So I gave that up. But boy, I tell you, I used to just drink so much of it that when I would give it up for Lent, I would literally go through withdrawals of the caffeine and the sugar. I mean, the first week would be horrible. Headaches, sweats, sick to my stomach. And yeah, guys, caffeine and sugar is a drug. Okay. It's a drug. It's a legal drug, but it's a drug. But, oh, it was horrible. But yeah, I gave up Coca-Cola 13 and a half years ago. Every so often I'll have a Sprite for bubbles, because you gotta have bubbles, right? I mean, bubbles. Remember that the what you call it in Finding Nemo, bubbles. So anyways, I'm all over the page here. This is like a true Mardi Gras party in every direction. So anyways, oh, that's delightful. So anyways, yeah, so I know you're probably thinking, yeah, but that's not good enough. And trust me when I say all the other chocolate stuff, I don't indulge in much anymore. I've really kind of put those to the side, but there are little things that I think I can handle and I can't, that I turn to when I am emotional. So I need to learn that I can't move into those. And the caveat with that chocolate thing is that if I'm going through something emotional and I do have something chocolate in the house, it's not candy and it's not a cookie, it ain't happening. It's not happening. Those other things are just, for a nice post-dinner dessert or something like ice cream, because I love Rocky Road, but it's not something that, is a huge part of my life. But the other two are. So that's me sharing what I'm doing. And then, like I said, I'm going to do my best to kind of fix this whole overthinking thing, because it's not serving me. It's never served me. It might have felt like it served me at some point, but it never has. So there's a lot of bad habits I want to give up. Now, my mom was also a big thing that, if you don't want to give something up, do something nice. Be of service to people. Just make it a point to go out of your way to do nice things for people. It doesn't have to involve any kind of monetary thing either. I mean, you can, if you see someone sitting at their desk and they just finished their lunch and it's sitting, and they're just right in the middle of busy doing something, but you're going to the kitchen, ask them, hey, can I take that for you? Because I'm going that way anyway. And it's not that you're saving them the time, you're seeing them. And when people feel seen, people feel good about themselves. When people feel seen, people go out of their way for, to do things for other people. You could start an entire chain of events for the day, or if you see someone struggling with something, ask them, hey, do you need any help? If they say no, that's okay. Don't insist. Just, you did your best, or you can hold the door open for them. I mean, how many times do we walk, we're walking into the mall and you might see someone ahead of you and, there's a woman or an older person that is going to probably struggle with the door, or someone in a wheelchair or a power chair, and somebody just lets the door go on them. And so, and I'm not tooting my own horn, but I tend to run to the door to help them because I have family that have been through all of these scenarios. And I know how hard it is. When I go to Comic-Con, older sibling and I will use her wheelchair just because if she gets upended, it can be bad. It can be really bad for her health. So, I know what it's like to try to open a door, with a wheelchair. And to be honest with you, I'm an only child, so a lot of times I will have my hands full anyways, because, making more than one trip to the car during grocery day is, it's not challenging enough. So you learn how to use your feet in every direction. But be of service to people. Do something nice. If you don't have anything to do, volunteer. There are places, most volunteer times are between 3 to 4 hours, so it's something you can handle. Be there for people, pray for people. Just offer, if you're in, if you are a person who prays, do that for people, and, sit and take gratitude for people. Just do things out of kindness. Don't do things because you're expecting something back. Do it out of the kindness of your heart. It's what my mom always used to say. So you should always do things out of the kindness of your heart. And in parentheses after that, it should say, not because you're expecting something back. So, I like to do things for people because I like to see the smile on their face. To me, that's my payment. That makes me so happy. Especially when, I used to be a really good gift giver. And I have a lot of friends who put a lot of thought into things, and I'm just, I don't know, for the last 5 years, I've just not been good at it at all. And I kind of want to kick myself because, you know, it's kind of like, pff, you're a dork. But, but, that being said, I do know we can do better. I do know that we can be better as people. No matter how great of a person you think you might be, there's always room for growth, right? I mean, so, you know, I have my moments, other people have their moments. All you got to do is sit there and just say, hey, you know what? Let's do this together. So, you know, if you're a person that follows Lent, that's great. That's for you. That's stuff that you might, be able to kind of work into your daily life. Okay. So, and it might be something that becomes a habit. If you're a person that's got your face buried in your phone and you're not paying attention to anybody and you just kind of walk in a door and let it go behind everyone behind you, you know, no one's saying stand there and be the doorman, but you can hold it open if there's someone behind you without letting it go in their face. That's an act of kindness. So, that being said, since it is Mardi Gras and we're moving past that part, like I said, I am not a deeply religious person. I was raised Catholic, but I'm a more spiritual person now. I have a lot of, you know, I just have a lot of different beliefs. But I wanted to share the part about Mardi Gras because the history of Mardi Gras is actually very fascinating. Google it. Just Google it. And, you know, like I said, Alabama and New Orleans can fight over it all day long, but I'm starting to question myself now too. So to everybody who I said where it was actually born in Mobile, that's because my friend said it and I believed her and I took it to heart. So whatever, 144 miles apart, like I said, they can do a little chain from each other and just share the glory. Okay. So here's the card. Let loose. It's Mardi Gras. Let loose. But here's the thing. Even though you might be giving things up, you know, if you do partake in Lent and you do partake in all those other things that go with Lent, it doesn't mean you can't loose in other departments. Have fun. Life is about fun. I was watching a show the other day, and the mom kept saying it to her daughter, right? Because her daughter went out to just kind of explore the world, and she kept telling her, life is not a dress rehearsal. Okay, this is it. You know, life is one big improv. Okay, I'm sorry guys, hold on one second. Life is one big improv. You just got to get on that stage and live it to its fullest if you can. Because if you're waiting for, you know, that moment to make everything perfect, nothing happens perfectly. I mean, it may in our minds, and that's fine. If it's perfect to you, that's great, but nobody's perfect. We're all perfectly imperfect. And that's the best way to be, perfectly imperfect. So, everyone knows that Mardi Gras is the celebration of all celebrations. If this card has shown up in your reading, well, okay, I'm reading it from the book, but it has shown up for you today. If the card has shown up in your reading, that means it's time to let loose and forget all of the obligations that have been plaguing you, even if it is just for a few hours. Your ability to experience fulfillment and enjoyment in the moment has been compromised due to overthinking, managing life's obligations, and experiencing a lack of joy in your day-to-day life. This current imbalance has started to affect your general positivity, and it is time for some revitalization. Cut loose even just a little and see how much it positively affects your energy and overall outlook. Sorry. So again, cut loose even if just a little and see how much it positively affects your energy and overall outlook. My tongue is not working today, clearly. But I mean, look at the card, right? You got the beads, you got the people in the window holding the beads, you got the person on the float there looking all vibrant and colorful. Mardi Gras and all the colors is about life. In my opinion, it's about all the colors in the life that we don't see. How many people, you know, we see in color, right? Well, most of us. But we take it for granted. You know, think about these people, right? They're starting to make these really cool glasses now where colorblind people can see color for the first time in their life. So I never really understood colorblind, and I guess it's just basically like seeing in black and white or something like that. I should do my homework on that. But anyway, I see these videos, right? Because every so often they'll pop up in my reels, and I see these people and they can't help it. They just start crying for the first time. Or not for the first time, but they just start crying because they're seeing color for the first time. And what's so beautiful about that is that it reminds us, what are we not looking at? What are we not seeing? There's this whole big, beautiful world out there, and we're not looking at it. Instead, we're looking at it in black and white. We're looking at it from the eyes of anger, or through the eyes of anger, or through the eyes of disappointment, or through the eyes of, whatever it is that we're looking at it through. And we got to be better. We got to be better. Whether you are a person who observes Lent or just does not, it doesn't matter. The message is there. It's about being a good person. It's about being a kind person. It's about being of service to people in need. And like I said, it doesn't have to be financial. There could be time. You could volunteer. You could open a door for somebody. I mean, kindness can be as simple as just sitting down next to a friend who is hurting and putting your arm around them. Not even saying anything, just sitting there in complete silence and just letting them know they're not alone. It could be sitting down and saying hello to a stranger. It could be smiling at a stranger as you pass them. It doesn't take a lot. And, for people who struggle with shyness, I really struggle with shyness. Just say hi, just smile, learn how to come out of your shell. And, so there's just so many different ways we can look at this time of observance. You don't have to be religious. You don't have to be Catholic or, I know other religions that branched off from Catholicism also, observe Lent. But I want to say celebrate Lent, right? But it's really not a celebration. I mean, it is a lot of sacrifice. Lent is a lot of sacrifice. And I think what it's a reminder of every year is the sacrifices that we should make. Seeing the sacrifices that other people make. I mean, what I'm giving up may seem superficial to some people, but for me, I'm already panicking about it. It's like, how many of these things can I eat before tomorrow? I'm already planning out my menu for the day. And to be honest with you, I don't think any of it will happen. I really don't. I have stuff I have to cook in the fridge before it gets bad. So, everything I want is probably, no, it's going to be a non-starter. But, just like I said, whether you observe or not, it is a time to really to go deep, okay? To look at where you are at now and see the things that you might want to change. So remember, if you don't challenge yourself, you can't change yourself. And I'm not saying anybody has to change. If you love yourself exactly as you are and you're doing good and maybe you worked really hard to get to this point, good for you. That's great. That's super great. But there are people out there that struggle, okay? And there are people out there who are going through a lot of things, who, really need to find that, that center again. And this can be the time to do it. So, like I said, even if you're not religious and, even if you follow a different spiritual path, you could just tick off the 40 days as saying, hey, you know what? How far can I make it doing this? Or how far can I make it doing that? Or how far can I make it giving this up? Because a lot of times when you get to the end, a lot of people, when I would get to the end, right? And especially when I give up chocolate or soda, first thing I wanted was that. And then one year I actually paid attention, because even though I'm not religious anymore, and even though I'm really, like I said, I really am a lapsed Catholic, even though I follow my own spiritual beliefs now, I observe Lent for my mother. My mom, even when she was alive, would sit there and go, so what are you giving up for Lent? It wasn't, are you observing Lent? Or are you observing Lent? Are you going to follow Lent this year? Blah, blah, blah. It was, what are you giving up for Lent? I didn't have a choice. And people will sit there and go, you have a choice. It's like, maybe I do, but I think I did it for her. And maybe in a small way, it was also doing it for me. So after she passed, I took a step back one year. And I thought, well, I'm still going to observe Lent, and I still do for her. And I thought, the thing I gave up, it was really kind of interesting because I think it was chocolate across the board that year. And all I could think of until maybe the last week before Lent was, oh, I can't wait to have this. I can't wait to have that. But then during the week, I was kind of like, look how far I've come without all these things. I didn't die. I didn't, not crawling across the Sahara, begging for a Starbucks coffee or a mocha or a flat white or, oh God, this one place by my house. Sorry, side note. If you live in Orange County, Google Enchanted Coffee because they have a flat brown. Right? Game changer. I have blue flat white right out of the water. So, because I don't always want a mocha. Sometimes I want something a little less much. But, but yeah, so if you are going to do something, I'm going to really suggest the journaling here. Journal your way through the 40 days. Like I said, you don't have to be religious to observe these 40 days, okay? It can just be anything you want to call it. It could be, just as an example, Shelly Marie's 40 days of, 40 challenging days or, 40-day challenge or, of doing this, that, or the other without something. And, you can do that and then see where you're at the end. So, I'm in the process of doing my, I'm on day 61 today. Of a challenge that I do every so often when I know there's something that's going on and I need to kind of heal it, or just if there's somewhere I want to be ahead of myself. And it's as morbid as it sounds. I've mentioned this before. It's the day that my mom was officially diagnosed with pancreatic cancer to the day she passed away. I mapped out the days. I counted out the days. And so every so often I will challenge myself to do those days. It was basically like 3.5 months. And I've been doing it since 2016, I think. And it's really kind of helped in my healing process because it makes me journal every day. So, there's apps on your phone now for journals, especially if you have an iPhone. They have a brand new app. It's got Face ID. So if you don't want anyone to see it, they can suck it and walk away. They shouldn't be looking at your shit anyway. There's journals. Believe it or not, I'm on journal number 2 of this stretch of my thing. I got this journal from older sibling like almost 20 years ago, and I'm finally using it. So yes, for those of you who don't believe I have a lot of pens and a lot of journals, because it has to feel right? I mean, if you're a person, I grew up before computers are the way they are now. Okay. So, and you had to be able to afford a computer too, but I grew up in that era, so a lot of the writing I did, because I mean, we have laptops now. And if you had a computer, somebody was usually on it. So you couldn't sit on it for a long period of time. So I learned how to write my stories in notebooks, pen, paper, that's it. Sometimes a pencil, depending on the mood. But I always had to have the right pen. And it always had to be the right notebook. It doesn't matter. I mean, if it was a green colored spiral school notebook and I wanted red, it had to be red. So you kind of accumulate these things over time because you pick it up and you're all, oh yeah, this looks great. It's like, nah, I don't feel like writing in it. So, so there's that. And a little bit of quirky fun facts of Shelly Marie. So, I do suggest journaling that. And so if you do go on the Lenten trip, and observe it through the eyes of Lent and through the church, then journal it. If you are just going to observe it as a person who is not religious, who stands out here and over there with me, I'm basically kind of somewhere in the middle, journal that too, because you will find a lot out about yourself that you probably may have never known. And if you're struggling with things, you might even find how resilient you are and how strong you are, and how you may have survived a lot of things that you never thought you would survive. Okay. So I hope everybody has a wonderful, glorious, magnificent, exciting, and fun Mardi Gras. I'm going to warn you on the excess. Don't get too excessive, okay? You don't want to end up in the ER with a heart attack. You do not want to end up in the ER with alcohol poisoning or any other kind of poisoning, okay? So, indulge in something you may not indulge in, but, don't overindulge, okay? I mean, this is not the Lent of 400 years ago. Okay, this is not where, unless you choose to. So I'm sure there's some hardcore Catholics out there and some hardcore Christians out there who will do the fasting and everything, and but I mean, observe your fish only on Fridays. Now in the Catholic Church, believe it or not, they have made it where it's just no red meat on Fridays. Okay, so you could have all the other meats, fish, chicken, fish or poultry. Blah. I'm not sure where swine lands, but it's not red meat, so I don't think it's considered red meat. No, pork. Pork is a white meat. So the other meat. So there you go. So, but don't, just no red meat on Fridays and no red meat on Good Friday. Well, obviously Good Friday or Ash Wednesday. Okay. So eat your fish. McDonald's probably got their Filet-O-Fish already floating out in the wind. Of course, every other fast food restaurant goes in with their fish thing. So you're covered. Okay. You're covered. You have no excuses. So, that being said, I'm rambling. The funny thing is, I drink decaf. So maybe it's the red lipstick. The red lipstick's making me feel pretty awesome. It's nothing like a good color lipstick to bring you into your day. So I'm going to leave you with this. This came up the other day in the reading, or in the perspective. Loving others, it's on my computer, so that's why I'm looking that way. But loving others is easy when I love and accept myself. So these are affirmation cards, okay? Loving others is easy when I love and accept myself. And my heart is open. I allow my love to flow freely. I love myself, I love others, and others love me. So when you open your heart and you learn to accept yourself, imagine all the things and wonderful things that can happen. And you might be saying, what the hell does this have to do with Mardi Gras? Because if you struggle with this, these next 40 days can help you with this. It is going to bring you to your knees if you do it the right way. And I mean, not that I want people to be brought down to their knees, but sometimes we need to get back to our basics in order to remind ourselves of who we are, to be able to stop, take a breath, look around. Pick our faces up from our phones and notice the world around us. Okay, so again, have a wonderful, wonderful day, everybody. I'll be back here tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. Pacific time, Facebook Live on the Aloha Perspective. All perspectives are live. Okay, so I do upload them later to YouTube, and I do a shorter version of this on TikTok. So, for example, on TikTok today, I will probably skip the Mardi Gras history and just go right into the card, talk about the card, and that's it. So if you want the abridged version, the Cliff Note version, or what I call the drive-through version of this, then just, you can watch it thereafter. But these always do come first. I do go on live because I do hope one day I have interactions with people other than my usual live people. But yeah, so again, it's here on the Aloha Perspective on Facebook. You can find me here. You can find it on YouTube under the Aloha Perspective. Have a wonderful, wonderful day, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. And again, have a safe and happy Mardi Gras.